Hello class. Now today we learn chapter 11, communications. Now we learn some new words. Number 1, acclaim. Acclaim means to praise somebody or something publicly and enthusiastically. The noun is acclaim. Noun person, acclaimer, and noun thing, acclamation. Number 2, account for is a phrasal verb. Account for means explain something, be responsible for something. For example, export sales account for at least half of all our total business. Barrier is a noun, which means something that obstructs. Number 4, chatter means to talk or converse rapidly and informally about unimportant things. So we have noun person is chatterer, means very talkative person. Rigmarole means an irritating, tedious, or confusing sequence of tasks, especially tasks that seem unnecessary or absurd. Breakdown means a disruption of the understanding and interaction between people or groups. For example, the breakdown in the talks. Number 7, filter. Filter means straining device, and the verb is filter. Number 8, alter means change. So we have the noun is alteration, adjective is alterable, and the noun thing is alterability. Number 9, escalator. The noun is moving stairs. Verb is escalate. Noun thing is escalation, and adjective is escalatory. Verb, we have perceive. Perceive means understand or comprehend. The noun thing is perception, and adjective is perceptive. So we have the idiom, on the same wavelength. This idiom means that if two people are on the same wavelength, it is easy for them to understand and agree with each other. The antonym is on different wavelength. For example, to my surprise, I found that we were absolutely on the same wavelength about most of the important issues. Now, pre-reading. We have 5 minutes. Here are 2 questions for skimming the passage. Which characteristic do the excellent companies and fast-run companies have in common? Number 2, list 3 communicative problems, the causes and their solutions mentioned in the passage. Question number 1. Excellent companies have a vast network of informal urban communications. People working in them keep in contact with each other regularly. They meet often and have many unscheduled meetings. In the fast-run businesses, few barriers exist to prevent people talking to each other. The companies do everything possible to ensure that staff meet easily and frequently. Question number 2, problem number 1. Problem. People think they have got their message across when in fact they have not. We do not in fact communicate as effectively as we think we do. Suggestions. When giving instructions, managers must make sure that those instructions have been understood and interpreted correctly. Problem number 2. Problem. Staff often filter information. The reasons. There is some kind of social distance between people. In organizations, people may have difficulty communicating if they are different in status, or if one person has a much higher position than the other. Such a suggestion to cut down on status symbols, to pay attention to physical surroundings and physical distance. Problem number 3, the problem, selective perception. People perceive things in different ways. The reason is, the word of the sender is not the same as the word of the receiver, because their knowledge and experience is different. Sender and receiver are always on slightly different wavelengths. So here are some suggestions. Communication should be a two-way process. Managers should encourage staff to ask questions and to react to what the managers are saying. Feedback is essential. So we have the answer is FCADGEEH. Now, we have advantages and disadvantages. The first one is more economical, able to provide more workspaces and place more employees in office. However, the disadvantage is noisier and can be more chaotic than closed plan offices. Distracted, which may lessen productivity. The second advantage is communication is obviously easier between workstations and departments. However, there is one disadvantage. It is overheard easily. Privacy is difficult to obtain. The third advantage is there is no time wastage between offices because everyone is in the same area. However, the disadvantage is the security is reduced. The fourth advantage is it is easier for the supervisors as everyone is a centralized area. However, the disadvantage is sicknesses and infections can spread like wildfire. The next one, number 5, the advantage is issues get resolved faster and this leads to more productivity. However, disadvantage is lighting, heating, and air conditioning to suit all the employee tastes can be difficult to achieve. The last advantage is if the layout of the office needs to be changed, it can be done quickly and without efforts. So the disadvantage is senior staff or employees will have been with the company longer than most will most likely feel as if they are entitled to a private office. So because the subordinates misinterpret what the manager means. So this is advice to the managers. First, the manager should assess their communication style, which describes how assertive and expressive they behave when they communicate. The second one, determine the communication style of the audience they are trying to reach. The third one, use prompting and open-ended questions. Enables better dialogue. The fourth one, use reflecting statements. Help build rapport and trust. And the last one, paraphrasing or repeating what was said also helps to avoid conflict and unnecessary confrontations in the workplace by facilitating understanding. So we have some vocabulary focus. Number 1, look up, look into, tie up, 2, 3, below bar. Number 4, screw up. Number 5, you are out. Number 6, rush order. 7, match. 8, credentials. 9, just your cup of tea. 10, look it over. 11, straighten it out. And number 12, sorry. Thank you. Goodbye, class.